The storm clouds over Riverside City gathered like a curtain hiding something inevitable, and Maria Reyes felt that same heaviness settle in her chest as she hurried down the narrow street with her baby in her arms. Noah, barely 2 years old, was pressed tightly against her, his tiny fingers curled into her shirt as if letting go meant losing the only safety he knew. He never allowed anyone else to touch him, not neighbors, not friends, not even the kind old woman who sometimes watched him. But tonight Maria had no one. The hospital had called her in for an emergency night shift, and turning it down meant losing the job that kept a roof over their heads. Her footsteps slowed as she reached the towering glass building where she worked as a cleaner. The polished floors, the quiet hallways, the soft hum of expensive lights, everything inside belonged to a world she would never be part of. She whispered to Noah, "Just stay quiet, baby. Just for a while." Yet deep down she knew this night felt different, almost dangerous, as if something was waiting to unfold. When the elevator doors parted, Maria froze. A group of executives stepped out, but one man's presence struck her like a jolt, tall, calm and commanding, his expression unreadable. The Millionaire CEO Adrian Hale. A man so distant from her world that she had only seen him in passing. Maria held Noah closer, praying he wouldn't cry. But instead, something impossible happened. Noah lifted his head, his wary eyes softening as he reached a tiny hand toward the stranger he'd never seen before. Maria's breath caught as Noah stretched his hand toward the man he should have feared. Noah, who cried if anyone so much as stepped too close, was suddenly calm, curious, drawn in a way that made no sense. Adrian paused mid-stride, surprised by the tiny hand reaching for him. For a moment, the bustling hallway, the urgency of the late-night meeting, everything seemed to quiet around them. Maria gently pulled Noah back, whispering an apology she hoped he couldn't hear. "He's just tired, sir," she murmured, her voice shaking. She expected Adrian to nod and continue on, like every important person who never saw her. But he didn't move. His eyes stayed on Noah, softening with something she couldn't quite name, something almost protective. Noah didn't cling to Maria this time. Instead, he leaned forward again, reaching with both hands now, as if he knew Adrian, as if he trusted him. Maria swallowed hard. Noah had never reacted like this to anyone, not once. Before she could step away, Noah let out a small sound, gentle, almost calling to Adrian. And Adrian, a man known for being distant and focused only on business, slowly crouched down, meeting the child's gaze as if pulled by the same invisible thread. Maria felt her world tilt, a quiet fear and a strange hope weaving together. Something was happening, something she didn't choose and didn't understand, but she could feel it changing everything already. Adrian didn't speak at first. He simply watched Noah with a focus that unsettled Maria. Most people saw her son's silence as strange, his fear as inconvenient. But Adrian looked at him as though he recognized something familiar, something he wasn't expecting to find. Noah's small fingers brushed the edge of Adrian's sleeve, and the child let out a quiet sigh, settling against Maria's side but keeping his eyes locked on the man. Maria tightened her hold, her nerves prickling. She had to get Noah to the small supply room before anyone questioned why she brought him. But as she turned to leave, Adrian's voice broke the moment. "Is he always this perceptive?" His tone wasn't sharp, it carried a gentleness she never imagined from someone like him. She hesitated, unsure how to answer without revealing too much. "He doesn't usually go near anyone," she admitted softly. "You're the first." Adrian's expression shifted, surprise mixed with something deeper. He stood slowly, watching the way Noah reached toward him again as if afraid he would disappear. A quiet tension settled in the hallway, and Maria sensed an unspoken connection forming, one she didn't know how to stop. Before she could take a step, Adrian's assistant rushed over, whispering urgently about the meeting waiting upstairs. Adrian gave a final glance at Noah, as if torn for a split second before turning away. But Noah suddenly reached out again, this time calling out a soft sound, as if begging him not to go. And Maria felt a chill of realization. Her son wasn't just curious. He needed something from this man. Something Maria couldn't yet understand. Maria's steps felt heavier as she slipped into the back corridor, trying to distance herself from the strange moment she'd just witnessed. Noah kept twisting in her arms, looking over her shoulder as if searching for Adrian even after he was gone. His restlessness worried her. Noah never reacted like this to anyone. He usually buried his face into her chest, avoiding every stranger. But now he kept lifting his head, eyes bright with a longing she couldn't explain. She reached the small storage room and gently placed him on a folded blanket. "It's okay, baby. Mommy's right here," she whispered. But Noah kept glancing toward the door, his tiny hands opening and closing as if he wanted to reach for someone no longer there. Maria knelt beside him, brushing his soft hair, trying to steady her thoughts. Why Adrian? Why tonight? It made no sense. The CEO had hundreds of people around him every day, powerful voices, confident figures, people who belonged in his world. Yet Noah, her quiet, sensitive child, had chosen him. Before she could piece her thoughts together, the faint sound of approaching footsteps echoed down the hall. Maria stiffened. If anyone discovered Noah here, she could lose her job instantly. She pressed a finger to her lips, signaling Noah to stay quiet. But instead of crying, he stared at the door with a strange calm, as if he knew exactly who was coming. The footsteps slowed outside, paused. Maria's heart climbed into her throat. Then, with a soft knock, a familiar voice spoke through the door, gentle, questioning, almost drawn in. Is your son all right? Adrian had come back. And from the tone of his voice, he wasn't here by accident. Maria froze at the sound of his voice. She hadn't expected him to return, especially not when an entire boardroom was waiting for him. Her hand hovered over the doorknob, unsure whether opening it would save her or ruin her. Before she could decide, Noah made the choice for her. He crawled toward the door with surprising confidence, pressing his tiny palm against it as if welcoming whoever stood on the other side. Maria swallowed hard and finally opened it a few inches. Adrian stood there, not with the cold authority she'd seen earlier, but with a quiet concern that felt oddly out of place in these polished hallways. His gaze immediately fell to Noah, who reached his arms up toward him again, this time without hesitation. He came looking for me, Adrian said softly, almost to himself. I don't know why, but he did. Maria felt her stomach twist. Sir, I'm sorry. I didn't mean for this. I had no one to watch him. She expected frustration, disappointment, something that showed she had broken rules she never should have touched. But Adrian didn't look upset. Instead, he crouched again, offering Noah a gentle smile that softened his entire expression. Noah leaned forward, his cheek brushing Adrian's hand with complete trust. It was the kind of trust he had never given anyone outside of Maria. Adrian's eyebrows drew together slowly, as if something long buried inside him stirred. He reminds me of someone, he murmured, barely audible. Maria felt a spark of unease and curiosity mixed together. Someone you know? She asked. Adrian didn't answer immediately. He stood, his gaze drifting down the hallway as if pulled toward memories he had tried to forget. Someone I lost, he finally said. And in that moment, Maria realized the connection between her son and the millionaire wasn't random. It was the beginning of something neither of them could walk away from. Maria felt the world slow at his quiet confession. Lost? The word echoed through her, carrying a weight she wasn't prepared for. Adrian took a slow breath, his eyes fixed on Noah as if the child had opened a door he had kept locked for years. But before Maria could ask anything more, Noah reached again, not out of curiosity this time, but with a tender familiarity that made the moment feel almost unreal. He pressed his tiny hand against Adrian's chest, right over his heartbeat, and for a second, Adrian's composure slipped. His breath caught. His eyes glistened. Maria instinctively moved closer, unsure if she was intruding or witnessing something she wasn't meant to see. Sir, are you all right? She whispered. Adrian blinked, grounding himself. Your son, he feels things deeply. More than most. It's rare. His gaze softened, and then he added, almost hesitantly, someone I cared for had that same quiet strength. Maria didn't know what it meant, but she knew Noah felt something too. The little boy rested his head against Adrian's arm, peaceful in a way Maria had only seen when he fell asleep in her arms. A sudden announcement over the intercom startled them, calling Adrian back to the meeting. Yet he didn't move immediately. He kept his gaze on Noah as if torn. Finally, he straightened, but his voice was gentle when he spoke. I need to return, but I don't want to leave him like this. Will you stay here until I'm done? I'll find you afterward. Maria nodded slowly, still unsure why any of this was happening. As Adrian turned to leave, Noah reached after him again, a soft sound escaping his lips, almost like calling his name without words. Adrian paused mid-step, his shoulders tightening. He looked back, meeting Maria's eyes with a depth she couldn't decipher. There's a reason he came to me, he said quietly. And when this meeting ends, I think we both deserve to understand why. In that moment, Maria felt a shift, subtle but powerful, like the beginning of a truth that would change everything for them both.